On the outskirts of a forgotten village, the fluorescent lights of a small convenience store flicker against the darkness. Inside, Sota Takai begins his night shift, the silence broken only by the hum of aging refrigerators and the distant rustle of wind through empty streets. The clock ticks past midnight, and Sota, accustomed to monotony, expects nothing more than a slow procession of hours. Yet, as the shadows lengthen and the world outside grows colder, an uneasy feeling settles in, a subtle shift, almost imperceptible, that hints at something watching from beyond the glass. What Sota cannot know is that tonight, the ordinary will unravel into the inexplicable. On a cold evening in late October, two high school boys stumbled into the dimly lit corner store. Their faces were pale, eyes darting nervously as they whispered about something called the Red Room. According to their hurried conversation, a classmate had vanished after receiving a cryptic invitation to an online puzzle, one rumored to reveal your darkest secrets. The boys described strange messages, flickering screens, and a chilling sense that someone, or something, was watching. As they spoke, the store's fluorescent lights flickered overhead, and the air grew inexplicably colder. What exactly had they witnessed, and who, or what, was behind the Red Room's invitation? In the dimly lit corners of their memory, the boys recall the first whispers of the Red Room legend. It began as a harmless puzzle circulating online, but for one classmate, curiosity became a consuming obsession. He withdrew from friends and family, spending countless hours locked away, eyes fixed on the flickering screen. Days passed with no word, until the silence was broken by a chilling discovery. His parents found him alone, the room stained with something far darker than rumor. To this day, no one can explain what he saw or why the door seemed impossible to open from the inside. Haunted by the fragments of a conversation he was never meant to hear, Sota found himself unable to sleep. The words echoed in his mind, each syllable laced with a sense of dread. Desperate for answers, he reached out to his friend Ryota, someone known for his fascination with the obscure corners of the internet. Their exchange was tense, punctuated by long silences, as Ryota hesitated before revealing what little he knew about the puzzle. But as Sota pressed for details, a chilling realization began to surface. Some questions are better left unanswered. As dusk settles over the quiet town, Sota sits alone in his dimly lit room, phone clutched tightly in his hand. Each minute without a reply from Ryota stretches into an eternity, the silence punctuated only by the faint hum of the refrigerator and the distant creak of old pipes. Sota's thoughts spiral, replaying their last conversation, searching for clues in every word and pause. The longer he waits, the more the shadows seem to shift around him, feeding a growing sense of dread. What could possibly keep Ryota from answering? And why does Sota feel as if something unseen is watching him, just beyond the glow of his screen? Compelled by a growing sense of dread, Sota delves into the shadowy corners of the internet, searching for any trace of the Red Room. He finds cryptic forums, grainy screenshots, and unsettling rumors that refuse to fade. Among the digital whispers, he stumbles upon news articles, each one colder than the last, detailing a string of unexplained deaths, all eerily connected to the same enigmatic puzzle. The deeper Sota goes, the more the line between myth and reality begins to blur. Yet, with every answer he uncovers, new questions emerge, lingering in the silence of his darkened room. Late one evening, Sota sat alone in his dimly lit room, scrolling through forums dedicated to the Red Room legend. As he pieced together cryptic messages and obscure references, a chilling realization emerged. The username linked to the Red Room's last known victim matched the online alias of Yuto Atsumi, his recently deceased classmate. Police reports had dismissed Yuto's death as a tragic accident, but Sota now saw unsettling patterns, messages, symbols, and timestamps that seemed far too deliberate. The lines between coincidence and something far darker began to blur, leaving Sota with a single, haunting question. Was Yuto's fate truly an accident, or had he been chosen? The quiet hum of the convenience store is abruptly broken by the jingle of the entrance bell. A lone customer steps inside, their presence forcing Sota to pause his frantic search through the backroom records. He assists the stranger, his mind still racing with unanswered questions. But as the customer departs, and the silence settles once more, an unfamiliar voice drifts from the office, low, distorted, and unmistakably wrong. Sota freezes, the air thick with dread, as he realizes he is no longer alone in the building. It began as a harmless interruption, a small pop-up window flickering on Sota's computer screen, its message simple and almost childlike. Do you like? At first, Sota dismissed it, assuming it was a glitch or an oddly worded advertisement. But the question returned, more insistent each time, appearing in the middle of work, late at night, even after the computer was powered off and back on. The words seemed to linger, their meaning growing more ambiguous and intrusive. By the third night, Sota found himself unable to sleep, haunted by the relentless inquiry that now felt less like a question and more like a demand. Why did it want to know? And what would happen if he finally answered? As the screen flickers, the innocuous pop-up transforms, its message now chillingly clear. Do you like the Red Room? The question hangs in the air, heavy and unyielding. Below, a list of names appears, each one typed with mechanical precision. Among them, Yuto Atsumi and Ryota. For a moment, the room seems to grow colder, the silence pressing in as the reality of the message settles. What connects these names? And why have they been chosen? The answer remains elusive, lurking just beyond the reach of understanding. Panic set in as Sota's trembling hands dialed Ryota's number, but the line remained eerily silent. The fluorescent lights flickered overhead, casting long shadows across the abandoned office. Suddenly, the heavy door slammed shut behind him with a deafening finality, the echo lingering in the stale air. Sota's desperate attempts to force it open only deepened his sense of isolation, as if the building itself had turned against him. Somewhere in the darkness, a faint, unnatural whisper seemed to answer his fear, reminding him that he was utterly, terrifyingly alone. The computer's screen flickers, its synthetic voice echoing the same chilling question into the silence. Sota stands motionless, his breath shallow, eyes transfixed by the glow. Then, his gaze drifts downward, settling on a box cutter resting on the desk, its blade gleaming beneath the pale light. A slow, unnatural smile creeps across his face, as if some terrible understanding has taken hold. In that moment, the line between choice and compulsion blurs, leaving only a single, unanswered question. Was Sota ever truly alone in that room? To this day, no one can say with certainty what became of Sota, Ryota, or the others who vanished after encountering the Red Room. The official reports offer only speculation, and the silence of the survivors is as unsettling as the disappearances themselves. In the quiet hours of the night, whispers of the Red Room still echo through the town, feeding a collective dread that refuses to fade. The legend endures, casting a long shadow over those who remain. Was it merely a story, or is something far more sinister lurking just out of sight?